Imagine a small baby girl, born in a big, cold palace. No one thinks she will ever be important. No one dreams she will rule an empire. But this little girl, she will change the world. She will rule longer than almost anyone in history. Her name will become an era, a time of great change. A time of steam trains and telegraphs. A time of empire and industry. This is the story of Queen Victoria. A story of a lonely child who became the most powerful woman in the world. A story of love and loss. A story of duty and heartbreak. If you want to learn English through real human stories, this story is for you. As you listen, let the words flow like a river. Notice the simple words. Feel the emotions. This story will help your English grow naturally. Let us begin our journey back in time. Chapter 1. The Lonely Princess in the Palace of Rules. Picture this. London, England. Year 1819. A big grey building called Kensington Palace. Inside, a baby girl cries. Her name is Alexandrina Victoria, but everyone will call her Victoria. She is born on May 24th. Her father is Prince Edward. Her mother is Princess Victoria of Saxe-Coburg. But her father dies very soon, just 8 months after baby Victoria arrives. Now, little Victoria has no father, only her mother and a strict man named Sir John Conroy. Imagine being a child with no father. Imagine living in a big palace, but feeling very alone. This was Victoria's life. Her mother and Sir John Conroy made many rules. They called these rules the Kensington system. What was this system? It was strict, very strict. Little Victoria could not play with other children freely. She could not walk downstairs alone. She always needed an adult with her. Even at age 10, someone watched her every minute. Why? Her mother and Conroy wanted control. They thought Victoria might become queen one day. They wanted to control her mind, control her heart. Victoria had lessons every day. She learned languages, German, French, English. She learned history and geography. She learned music and drawing. She was a bright child. She learned quickly, but she had no freedom, no fun, no friends her own age. She wrote in her diary, "I was very unhappy." Those words tell us much. A smart girl, a lonely girl, living in a golden cage. Her mother did not show much love. Sir John Conroy was not kind. He shouted at Victoria. He made her feel small. But Victoria was strong inside, very strong. At age 13, Conroy tried to make her sign a paper. This paper said Conroy would help rule when Victoria became queen. But Victoria refused. She said no. Even as a young girl, she knew her own mind. This was important. This showed her character. Victoria loved her dog, Dash. Dash was her best friend. When Victoria became queen at 18, her first act was to get Dash, not to see ministers, not to sign papers. First, she ran to find her dear dog Dash. This shows us Victoria's heart. She needed love. She needed friendship. Even a queen needs a friend. As you listen to this story, notice the words about family. Notice the words about rules and freedom. These are important English words, words we use every day. Victoria's childhood teaches us, even in difficult times, we can stay strong inside. Chapter 2. The Young Queen and Heavy Crowns. Picture this moment. June 20th, 1837. Early morning. Victoria is asleep in her bed at Kensington Palace. She is only 18 years old. A messenger knocks on her door. He brings news. King William IV has died. Now, Victoria is Queen. Queen of England. Queen of Scotland. Queen of Ireland. Queen of many lands far away. Imagine waking up as a child. Going to bed as a child. Waking up as a queen. How would you feel? Scared? Excited? Victoria wrote in her diary, "I will be good." Just 3 words, but they show her heart. She wanted to do her duty well. That same day, important men came to see her. They were old ministers. powerful men. They bowed low to this young girl. Victoria stood straight. She was small, only about 5 feet tall. But she spoke with a clear voice. She said, "I know my duty." These men were surprised. They thought a young girl would be weak, but Victoria had a strong will, like steel inside a small body. Her first days as queen were hard. She had to learn fast, learn about government, learn about laws, learn about wars and peace. She worked very hard. She read papers late into the night. She met with advisors every morning. She wanted to be a good queen, not just a figurehead, a real ruler. But Victoria was still young. She made mistakes. She trusted the wrong people sometimes. She had arguments with her mother and Sir John Conroy. She wanted freedom from their control. She moved out of Kensington Palace. She went to live in Buckingham Palace. This was her first big victory. Freedom at last. Then came love. Albert. Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. He was Victoria's cousin. They met when she was 17. Victoria wrote in her diary, "Albert is beautiful." She loved him immediately. But Albert was shy. He did not know if Victoria truly loved him. In 1839, Albert visited again. Victoria proposed marriage to him. Yes, the Queen proposed to the prince. This was unusual, but Victoria was not afraid to follow her heart. They married on February 10th, 1840. Victoria wore white silk. This started a tradition. Many brides still wear white today because of Victoria. On her wedding day, Victoria was happy, truly happy. For the first time, she had a partner, a friend, a love. Albert was good for Victoria. He helped her with her work. He gave her good advice. He taught her about art and science. He was kind to her. He loved her deeply. Victoria wrote, "We are one heart, one soul." This love changed her life completely. But life was not always easy. Victoria had many babies. 9 children in 17 years. This was hard on her body, hard on her mind. She did not always enjoy being pregnant. She wrote, "Being pregnant is not pleasant." But she loved her children very much. She raised them carefully. She wanted them to marry well, to make good alliances for England. Listen to these words about love and family. Heart, soul, partner. These are warm words, important words. As you hear Victoria's story, let these words sink into your mind. This is how we learn English best, through real human emotions. Chapter 3. The darkness that changed everything. Picture this. December 1861. Windsor Castle. Cold winter wind blows outside. Inside, Prince Albert is sick, very sick. He has typhoid fever. Victoria sits by his bed. She holds his hand. She prays for him to get better. But Albert grows weaker, day by day, hour by hour. December 14th, 1861. Albert dies. He is only 42 years old. Victoria's world breaks apart. She writes, "My life as a happy person ended." These are heavy words, heavy with pain. Victoria loved Albert more than anything, more than her crown, more than her power. Now he was gone, forever. Imagine losing your best friend, your partner, your love. In one moment, everything changes. This is what happened to Victoria. She went into deep mourning. She wore black clothes every day for the rest of her life. She covered all the mirrors in her palaces. She could not bear to see her own face without Albert. She wrote to her daughter, "The light has gone out of my life." Victoria stopped doing her duties as queen. She stayed in her rooms at Windsor Castle. She saw few people. The country worried. People called her the Widow of Windsor. They wondered if she would ever come back to public life. The government struggled without her leadership. Her children tried to help her, but Victoria pushed them away. She was angry with her son Bertie, later King Edward VII. She blamed him for Albert's death. Albert had been worried about Bertie's behavior. This stress may have made Albert sick. Victoria could not forgive this. For many years she was cold to Bertie. This was not fair. But grief makes us do unfair things. Victoria found comfort in two people, her Scottish servant John Brown, and her Indian servant Abdul Karim. John Brown was rough but kind. He made Victoria laugh again. He called her woman, not Your Majesty. This felt real to her. Abdul Karim taught her about India. He became her munshi, her teacher. Victoria valued their friendship, but many people in court did not like this. They were jealous. They thought a queen should not be friends with servants. But Victoria did not care. She needed human connection. She needed kindness. During these dark years, Victoria wrote. She wrote letters. She wrote in her diary. She wrote books. She published Leaves from the Journal of Our Life in the Highlands. This book told about her happy times with Albert in Scotland. People loved this book. It showed Victoria's human side. It showed her heart. The British Empire grew during Victoria's absence, but she did not notice much. Her prime ministers ruled the country, men like Benjamin Disraeli and William Gladstone. They made important decisions, but Victoria still had influence. When she spoke, people listened. Even in her grief, she was still queen. This time of darkness lasted many years, 10 years, 15 years. But slowly, Victoria began to come back. Why? Because she remembered Albert's words. Albert always said, "Duty first." Victoria realized her duty to her people. She could not hide forever. She owed it to Albert to be the queen he believed she could be. As you listen to this sad part of Victoria's story, notice the words about loss, grief, mourning, darkness. But also notice the words about hope, slowly, remembered, duty. These words have power. They show how humans survive pain, how we find strength again. This is important for your English, and important for your life. Chapter 4. The Empress of Hearts and Steel. Picture this. The year is 1877. Victoria stands tall, though small in stature. She wears a simple black dress, but she carries herself like an empress. In this year, she becomes Empress of India. Not just Queen, Empress. This title means much. It shows the power of the British Empire. It shows Victoria's own power. After her long mourning, Victoria found new strength. She remembered Albert's lessons. She returned to her duties. But now she was different, wiser, stronger. She knew what mattered. She knew her power. She used it well. Victoria became a symbol, not just of England, but of an entire age, the Victorian Age. This was a time of great change. Steam trains crossed the country. Telegraph wires connected continents. Factories produced goods faster than ever before. Science made new discoveries. Medicine saved lives. Victoria supported all this progress. She visited factories. She met inventors. She encouraged education. She believed in the future. But Victoria also loved tradition. She loved royal ceremonies. She loved the pomp and glory of monarchy. In 1887, she celebrated her Golden Jubilee, 50 years on the throne. People cheered her in the streets. In 1897, her Diamond Jubilee, 60 years as Queen. No British monarch had ruled so long. The whole world celebrated Victoria. She was not just Queen of England, she was grandmother of Europe. Her children married into royal families across the continent. Her influence was everywhere. Victoria ruled with a firm hand. She was not afraid to disagree with her ministers. She wrote letters to prime ministers. She gave her opinions. She once said, "I am the Queen. I will be obeyed." But she was not cruel. She cared about her people. She visited poor areas. She met workers. She saw their hard lives. She wanted to help. She supported charities. She helped build hospitals and schools. Victoria also loved simple things. She loved her Scottish home at Balmoral Castle. She loved walking in the Highlands with her dogs. She loved painting. She loved writing. She kept a diary every day of her life, from age 13 until her death. That is over 60 years of diaries. This shows her discipline, her commitment. In her later years, Victoria became very large. She had always been small, but now she was heavy. She walked with difficulty, but she never stopped working. Every morning she read government papers. Every afternoon she met with advisors. She ruled until her last breath. Victoria's relationship with her children improved. She became close to Bertie again. She helped arrange good marriages for all her children. She had many grandchildren, 37 grandchildren. She loved them all. She wrote to them often. She gave them advice. She wanted them to be good people. The British Empire grew larger than ever under Victoria. It covered 1/4 of the world. People said, "The sun never sets on the British Empire." This meant that in some part of the empire it was always daytime. Victoria ruled over 400 million people, more than any woman in history. Victoria was not perfect. She could be stubborn. She could be impatient. She sometimes held grudges, but she was always honest. She always did her duty. She worked harder than anyone expected. For 63 years, she served her country. This is remarkable. Truly remarkable. As you listen to Victoria's success story, notice the words about strength, firm hand, discipline, commitment. But also notice the words about love, grandmother, charities, help. A good leader needs both strength and kindness. This is a lesson for us all, and these words will help your English grow stronger too. Chapter 5. The Sunset of an Era and the Light that Remains. Picture this. January 22nd, 1901. Osborne House on the Isle of Wight. Winter again. Victoria is old now. 81 years old. She lies in bed. Her family gathers around her. Her son Bertie holds her hand. Her daughters are there. Her grandchildren. They pray together. Victoria's breathing is slow, very slow. At 6:30 in the evening, Queen Victoria dies. The longest reign in British history ends. 63 years and 7 months. The whole world mourns. Flags fly at half-mast. Ships sound their horns. Bells ring in churches. People weep in the streets. Victoria was not just a queen. She was a mother figure to her nation. She had ruled through times of peace and war, through times of poverty and progress, through times of joy and deep sadness. She had been constant, like a rock in a storm. Victoria left behind a changed world. When she became queen in 1837, people travelled by horse. They wrote letters by candlelight. They died young from simple illnesses. When she died in 1901, people travelled by train and steamship. They sent telegrams across oceans. Doctors used new medicines. Science had changed everything. Victoria's legacy is everywhere. Her name is on buildings, on streets, on institutions. The Victorian era shaped modern Britain. It shaped the modern world. The British Empire reached its height under her rule, but the seeds of its decline were also planted. Victoria believed in duty, in hard work, in family, in progress. These values defined her age. What lessons can we learn from Victoria's life? First, strength comes from within. Victoria was small. She was a woman in a man's world, but she never let anyone control her. She knew her own mind. She stood up for what she believed, even when she was young and alone. Second, love changes everything. Albert's love made Victoria a better person, a better queen. After he died, her love for her children and grandchildren gave her purpose. Love is not weakness. It is our greatest strength. Third, duty matters. Victoria could have lived an easy life, but she chose duty. She worked until her last day. She served her people. She put others before herself. This is true greatness. Fourth, we can survive loss. Victoria's grief was deep. Many people thought she would never recover, but slowly she found her way back. She learned to live with pain. She found new purposes. This gives hope to all of us who have lost someone we love. Victoria was human. She made mistakes. She had flaws. She was sometimes too strict, too stubborn, too sad. But she was real. She loved deeply. She worked hard. She never gave up. This is why we remember her. As you finish listening to Victoria's story, think about your own life. What is your duty? Who do you love? How do you face your struggles? Victoria's story shows us that even the smallest person can make a big difference. That is the power of a human life lived with purpose. Now, dear friend, I have a question for you. Who should we learn about next? Who is another great historical figure whose story can help your English grow? Tell me in the comments below. Should we learn about Marie Curie or Mahatma Gandhi? You decide. Your voice matters. If this story touched your heart, if it helped your English even a little, please do 3 small things. Like this video. Share it with a friend who is also learning English. Subscribe to our channel for more real human stories. Every story we share helps you learn English naturally. Through emotion, through history, through life. Remember, you are stronger than you think. You can overcome your struggles. You can find your purpose. Just like Victoria, keep listening, keep learning, keep growing. Your journey matters. Until next time, goodbye.